Hi, guys. Welcome to Ambience Thrive. I'm Shayna Netanya with
Jen, and this is where thriving is our resistance and resilience. And I'm so glad to see you here again on this amazing Sunday afternoon.
Exactly. We've got a great guest today. We've got Melanie Goldberg from Strong Jewish Girls talking about her bedtime stories for girls today. Ooh, you have it.
I do.
Yay.
I do. Awesome.
Oh, have you read it?
Of course. And the illustrations are amazing. So I can't wait to show them later on in the program.
That's amazing. Did she do the illustrations too?
No, the illustrations are by Jess Goldsmith. So when you do follow Strong Jewish Women on Instagram, they do have links to both the author and the illustrator.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, how's your week been, Jen?
My week has just been same old, busy with, raising a family, fighting online trolls as usual.
The never-ending battle, right?
So my biggest thorn for this week and in my constant battle against, Jew hatred and anti-Semitism would have to go to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I am appalled, offended, seeing their stunt at Bondi Beach.
What do they do?
So basically they're on this faux royal tour. I'm not exactly sure what is the end goal of said tour. I'm not sure if they're trying to donate to certain charities. I don't know if they're fundraising for certain things. I'm not sure. But they wound up on Bondi Beach and they walked on the beach. He did meet with a survivor from Bondi attack and did look at a Jewish museum at some of the artifacts on display. On paper, sounds great. But when you see it in person, she's smiling. It makes it seem like, this is a very happy occasion, not something that should be solemn, something that should be more respectful than what was occurring on the beach. And then to find out that the clothes that she was wearing on said beach, she was then selling, and she is supposed to get a profit of the sale. And if it was for charity, I could possibly be okay with it, but there's no said charity. And after the fact, did the Duke and Duchess even make a statement in any solidarity with Australians or any of those on Bondi Beach or any of those that had been affected by the terrorist attack? No. They had 4 months to make a statement, any statement, even just saying, we are sending our condolences, but there was nothing. And then to come 4 months later, and as I said in my post, they were disaster tourists. And this has been a pattern. They were there at Uvalde after the school shooting in Texas. She had a camera crew taking photos of her, paying her respects. We know Bondi Beach, and we also know in the LA fires that she and Prince Harry were there before anybody who actually had property damaged were allowed to see any of the after effects, but they were there.
That's so disgusting. Wow. Especially the selling the clothes portion of your disaster tourism. Like, that is such a slap in the face to the Jewish community. Wow.
And again, I'm leaving this thoughts to our viewers. I've seen this circulating online. She did wear a blue and white striped shirt. I didn't immediately make the connection, but a lot of others were bringing out that it looked like a prison camp uniform. To me, it might be more of a stretch, but I'm very curious to see what others might have to say, especially, if you're going to a site where Jews died and Holocaust survivors died. Was that something that is a coincidence? Was it something a little bit more sinister? I don't know, but I'm just very curious to what others think about that.
Yeah, sound off in the comments what your thoughts are if you saw the outfit.
Yes. So that was the big thorn of this week. But one positive this week, if you haven't listened to Michelle for Eurovision, you are missing out. This song is amazing. It has French, it has Hebrew, it has English. The music video is incredible. 100 artists and entertainers signed a petition stating their solidarity with Israel in Eurovision. And I have to say kudos. That was something really positive during this time. And I just, to publicly put your name to a petition and signing your name is huge. You're taking a real risk and stand. And I really appreciate that. So I'm really rooting for Israel. And again, please, you got to listen to the song.
I've listened to this to Michelle, and as somebody that intends to move to Netanya, which has a huge of French Jews there. That's the one thing everyone keeps asking me. Do you speak French? Do you speak French? And so I don't, not right now at least, but I may have to when I move there. But I've heard Michelle, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And I like the interpretation some people give it too, that it's sort of like a song about the French Jews' love-hate relationship with France. It's like they love French culture, love the beauty of their country, but don't love how they're treated by their fellow countrymen. And I can certainly connect to that, as I'm sure you can too.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Very, very much so. How about you, Shayna? What's been your rose and thorn of this week?
Well, I think my thorn has been I finally heard back from the Soknut telling me that I had to get 2 more apostille documents. And so I went to Sacramento earlier this week. Again, I've taken off so many days from work just to make these day trips to Sacramento to get the certified paperwork and then to take it down to get the apostilles and then to send it off. So my package is sent off. So everybody pray for me, please, that they do not give me any more tasks I have to do to just become Israeli. But that has been my thorn. My rose has been, I have decided to start a podcast on YouTube called Thought Crimes, where I go more into more into detail about things that I believe, since I kind of have, my little Instagram voice, but it's kind of only, limited to 3 minutes. YouTube gives you at least 10 to 15,
Is YouTube, what are their policies? Is a lot stricter than Instagram, or I'm just, because I never really work with YouTube on, political content and so on.
Yeah, I do watch political streamers on there, like the other Barack. Shout out to the Traveling Clat. And they do pretty much, say the same things that they say on Instagram. It's really more just certain words, like you can't really say molestation. So like people, or like, unalived yourself, like things like that. It's that kind of stupid like TikTok, YouTube speak that I'll be having to do, but who cares? I love watching. So just so anyone knows, I actually have stopped watching TV. I don't watch news or anything like that. Everything I watch is on YouTube. I mostly watch different, channels and stuff, just because I like documentaries a lot. So I'll watch a lot of documentaries, but I tend to watch YouTubers. So there you go.
I am so with you on not really watching the news, because it's just so, it's depressing, but also, the biases that you see, even just me not even being on the news itself, like watching CNN, or, even going online, I'm seeing like the insidiousness of this hyper fixation on everything that Israel has been doing. And again, we talk about, you can criticize a government, but it's just this hyper fixation. No mention of anything that's going on in Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine was just attacked. No talk about what the China human rights abuses. Pakistan right now is being, spoken so highly about for peace talks. It's just,
it's insane.
What?
I feel like we live in an upside down world, to be honest with you.
So this is a great segue for our guest. I've been trying to read more and not be so tempted to be distracted by the news or going on social media. So I totally understand trying to unplug because it just gets too much. It really does.
100%. And since that's a great lead in, let's go ahead and welcome Melanie Goldberg, who is the author of Strong it's Bedtime Stories for Jewish Girls, right?
Yes.
Yes, Bedtime Stories for Strong Jewish Girls. Let's bring on Melanie Goldberg. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I definitely think that my title is a mouthful, but I couldn't shorten it. So I'm apologizing in advance because I do know. But the Strong Jewish Girls is the key part there.
Yes.
Yes.
What inspired you to create Bedtime Stories for Strong Jewish Girls?
Sure. So I am a mom of 3. I had my first child, a girl, almost 6 years ago, during COVID, which is a great time to have your first kid.
Yep.
I'm sure.
And
Not lonely at all, right?
not even, it was chaos, but it's okay. It's over now. So I realized I had a baby girl and I had wanted to start reading her books that would be inspiring. I felt like the world was really dark even back then, not necessarily in the Jewish space, but just death, destruction, all the things. And I wanted to bring some Jewish joy to her. And then I couldn't find the book. I looked everywhere. Like I picked up Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. They didn't have much Jewish representation. I looked at all the Judaica stores in my neighborhood. I live in New York. Didn't find anything. And I was like, okay, I'm a lawyer by profession. So I practiced, but the courts were closed during COVID. I'm going to write this book. That's it. So 6 years later, 5.5 or so, I finished, got a publisher, and was able to feature 50 Jewish women with little snippets of their lives in a once upon a time storybook format. Because I was like, okay, what will keep my daughter's attention? She loves, despite anything I have tried, she loves princesses, but she also loves outer space. So I won there a little bit. But also I love that she loves princesses. So let's make these women into princesses and also let her know a Jewish queen that isn't just Queen Esther. And so I narrowed down my list to 50 women. That's what I had time for. That's what the artist had time for. And book's out there now, and it's really fun. It brings me a lot of joy to see it. It brings me so much joy to see other girls reading it. I wrote it for my girls. I have 2 girls now and a boy. It's for him too. He should know about strong Jewish women.
Absolutely. That's a great point that boys can be in on this too. And we're, raising feminist men, right?
Feminist men, and also just know that we come from a legacy of strong Jewish women. It's not just Queen Esther. There is a lot of Jewish women out there, and we forgot. I'm big on, I think Jewish women have forgotten the legacy they came from.
What are some of the your kids' favorite not characters, but I know you picked some of the 50 strongest Jewish women. What are some of the favorite people in the book?
So for my kids, the 3-year-old loves Ruth Moscow Handler, who invented the Barbie. That's all she wants to read over and over again. And my almost 6-year-old loves Mona May Karf, who was the queen of chess in the 1940s. She beat all the boys.
Wow.
My daughter does not know how to play chess. So I don't know what draws her to it, but she loves the story. I think it's the crown. If you turn to that page, also there's a crown on her head. Those are their favorites. My favorite is Devorah Ram, who actually composed the Talmud, what every Orthodox Jewish man, woman too, but mostly men, learn on a daily basis. Yeah. See the Crown. I think she loves the Crown.
Mm-hmm.
So she compiled this like 7-volume like book that was supposed to be the basis for like Orthodox Judaism, but she had to, in order to publish it in the late 1800s, she had to get a number of pre-orders. And not everyone knows about this, but in order to get my book published in a with a traditional publisher, I had to secure $10,000 worth of pre-orders. And so like I felt like writing this book gave me the strength and the insight to be like, oh, a woman had to do this 200 years ago. I can do this too. Like, let me go follow her playbook. So I felt like it was inspiring for me to learn about her. And that's why I feel like, oh, I was empowered by her too. Like, Jen, you said you read it. I hope you found empowering women.
I found so many things that I never knew before, like to really touch upon not knowing our strong Jewish women history. Like I was going to say, you know, I learned about this woman. I hope I do not mispronounce her name. Betty Sirota Gordon, who lived in Japan and helped to write the legal code for, you know, having equal rights for women in Japan. Like incredible. Never knew that. Another one that was fascinating because I love history and especially, you know, American Revolutionary times, learning about a woman named Abigail who lived in Savannah, Georgia, had a tavern and helped the Patriots and had to flee because the royalists were able to secure Savannah. She was able to flee. And then was recognized by George Washington when he became president. I get goosebumps thinking about it because I've never heard of this before in all of the times I've been in school. Like, never in a history book. I mean, you know, I learned about a woman who dressed up as a man and like helped, you know, fight alongside in the Revolutionary War. And I thought, wow, that was incredible. But to have another story that was has been buried, it just mind blowing. Just incredible. And I had my niece read this. She's 8 years old, and she is very similar to how you describe your daughter. She loves princesses, but she also loves to be just fiercely independent. And you're right, there's really not a lot of Jewish representation. And she, you know, there's so many other representation, which is fantastic, but to go along with, there's really that disconnect with, you know, having Jewish representation in these stories. So, you know, it's been incredible. So thank you for giving me all this new knowledge.
It was all new to me too. That's what I would say. It was like kind of wild. I was like, I can't raise strong Jewish girls without knowing these stories myself.
Exactly. So when you were researching all of these incredible women, how did you narrow it down to these 50? What was the process?
So there's so many stories that are missing from this book. One of them that I feel like people always point out is like Golda Meir's not in here. Where is she? One, I wanted to like amplify voices that weren't necessarily ones people would know. Everyone knows Golda Meir, or they should, or they have a resource in order to like get to know her. I think also like many women have flaws, like, and they're like to a degree fatal if you're trying to inspire very young girls. Golda's flaw was, to me, amazing stateswoman, not a great mom, like left her kids behind with her.
I actually have a friend of mine whose grandfather had an affair with Golda Meir.
Another fatal flaw. Like maybe I don't want, if I'm only featuring 50 women, let's like find ones that maybe are a little less controversial.
Yeah.
So I wanted someone who seemed to exemplify all the character traits I would want for my kids. Like, not necessarily like if they want to be mothers, let them be mothers. If they want to be, but they should still try, even if they don't want to be moms, like they should try and contribute to their community.
That's a great lesson. What do you think is one of the surprising characters that people see in this book?
I think another Jewish queen. Like there's a
Yeah.
queen that's featured. Her name's Shlomzion Hamalka. She was like really a solo Jewish queen. She had no king to as alongside her, and she like ran Jewish like pre around the time of Josephus, which was like probably the real historian, and he writes about her. Like she ran Jewish life.
Was she the queen of Judea, or where was she a queen
Yeah,
at?
she was queen of Judea.
I had no clue that women were able to even rule alone without a king in Judea during biblical times. That's amazing.
And like it's not even just biblical times, I would say, because like there are definitely stories like you can go, I'm observant, but like I don't know if the Bible is a history book, and I don't think that it needs to be. But I do think that here there are actual historical sources that also talk about this woman. So I think she's super cool, and no one knows about her. They only know, oh, the queen, like Queen Esther is the queen of the Jews. So I'm really excited to give her story. I think also I come from a Sephardic and Ashkenazi background, meaning my family's from the Middle East on one side and from Eastern Europe on the other. There are a lot of strong Jewish women that came out of the Middle East, including one that ran her own. Yeah, here we go. She's Moroccan. She was the first female lawyer in Morocco. But even all the way back to like the 15th century, like there were women who were very involved in Jewish life and running and making sure the town, it wasn't just like cooking for the town or running like restaurants. They ran like yeshivot, like Jewish schools. They ran and they led those communities. They would come to them for like opinions. And I just feel like, why does that not exist today? Why do none of us know these stories and know the legacy and how involved Jewish women were in preserving like Jewish peoplehood?
What has been the feedback you've received, or reviews you've received from having this book published?
Mostly positive, I would say. Like definitely people. Someone asked me recently, they're like, did any of these people's family members, like everyone in the book is deceased. Like that was like a conscious choice I made. I was like, anyone who's still alive, their story is still being told. I don't need to like end it prematurely. Like, let's see how it plays out. But I haven't heard from any of the family members of people I featured, and that's fine too. I think it's been mostly positive. Like people were looking for this book, and I think they're very happy to have it. The best compliment I got was, it doesn't read like Wikipedia. And I was like, that was the goal. It doesn't read like Wikipedia.
Now, I know that Jen had said that you weren't the illustrator as well, too. How did you go about finding the illustrator, and how did you guys work together to process and make this book?
So I actually knew the illustrator in high school, but we hadn't spoken since. I am like almost 20 years out of high school. So like it's been a while. And I saw she was a graphic designer, and I loved her artwork, and I like sent her a message on Instagram. Like that is how I found her, and she agreed. She was like, I was looking for a project like this. Yes. I got the publisher on board, and then she and I started a spreadsheet. We called it the accessories. And so she was like, what do you want to be featured with these women? It should be their faces and like something they're doing, but like, what are their accessories? And so it was really fun to like narrow them down to images and like figure out what I thought would be appealing. So like the Queen of American Chess is playing chess, but she has a crown on her head, because what do 5 to 8-year-old girls want? They want a crown on somebody's head.
Would you consider expanding this to, I know this is bedtime stories, but making them a little bit longer for older kids, or possibly doing a part 2, since you know so many more stories to share?
I think there will be a part 2. I want it to happen. And I think my work would actually get shortened. Like it wouldn't take 5.5 years because for better or worse, there's ChatGPT now and it can like accelerate my research. I verify everything, but I just want to be very clear. Everything in the book is true. The dialogue that I do is imagined, but it's like based on true facts. I want there to be a book 2. I started this book with 1 child and now I have 3 and I work full time. And so this is my side project. So it will happen. It may take longer.
How do you find the time as a mom that is working full time to do this?
The door to the office right now is locked and there are screaming children on the other side and you don't hear that. So like that is what's happening right now. And I'm just going to be super transparent. But I also very much feel like I am setting that example for my kids where I can like have I think it's so important to have a hobby. You can't just be your job. And I think you spend quality time with your kids and not quantity. You don't need to be with them all the time, but it better be quality. My phone and my computer in the other room when I'm spending time with my kids. And I spent the morning with them and now I am talking to you guys and they know that, even if they're screaming on the other side of this door.
How has raising a Jewish family changed for you since October 7th?
It's gotten heavy. I think for me, I had 2 girls before October 7th and then a boy. And when I found out I was having my son, he was born March 2025. I felt like heavy and sadder. And I was like, this is not just because I'm happy to have a boy. Like, it's nice to have some diversity in my house. We can't just be girls. But I like sat with the feeling for a while and I was like, it's because he's going to be more visibly Jewish than my girls. Like, I would like him to wear a kippah on his head. You can't tell from the video, but I have like red hair and green eyes and my name is Melanie. Like I'm very, very white passing if I want to be. And he just won't be like as much. And I like had made a conscious decision for my kids to like give them Israeli Hebrew names. Like they're Ayelet, Aviva, and Boaz. Because I went to school with Indian Americans who had the name Renoj. And like, if he could have his name, I want my kids to have their very ethnic sounding names. And that means they can't hide. But that means I like am thinking like, oh, my kids may have to hide. So I think it's just gotten heavy. When I'm around them, I find they're so joyful about it still. So I feel like I have shielded them.
Yeah.
But I don't, your kids, Jen, it sounds like they're a bit older, or your nieces. And Shayna, I don't know if you've been around other kids also. But my 5, she's almost 6. She was in shul and synagogue with me yesterday, and she saw there were like cameras, like security cameras, and she goes to me, Ema, I think there are cameras here because if when bad people want to hurt Jews, we need to catch them on camera so we can catch them.
So sad when we see kids reflecting the harsh reality of the world back to us, right?
It was just like very, like, would I have said that at her age? I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think it means right now in a post 10/7 age, in an age where there is open and socially tolerated Jew hatred in our world, to raise strong Jewish children right now?
I think it's resistance, like to take a like Gen Z millennial word. Like, I believe in a just world and I believe in like finding a place for everybody, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hide. Like, I'm going to keep having Jewish children and making sure they know their story so they don't like lose it. and then they can build off it for themselves. But it's also not, I'm not hiding. Like, I'd rather look more ethnically Jewish, as much as, like, yesterday I was walking home with the same headscarf I'm wearing now with 2 of my children from the playground, and didn't have my phone on me because it was Shabbat, and I ran into somebody who I was wrapped in a keffiyeh, and I could only see his eyes on my corner in the middle of New York City. And I was like, okay.
That's got to be terrifying, to be honest with you.
I have such a hard time being terrified in the moment, but when I came home, I was very flustered. I was like, what is he doing in my neighborhood? Like, also, like, it's not even an accessory at that point. If you're hiding your whole face, you look like a terrorist. Like, you look like you're about to commit an act of terror.
Yeah, wanting Jews to be afraid is part of the shtick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm glad I don't feel afraid for better or worse. Like, maybe that's stupid. But
no,
like,
you're exemplifying being a strong Jewish woman.
Yeah, who also is 5'1" and can't take on a terrorist, but like, whatever, okay.
Hey, it's not the size of the fight. It's not the size of the dog. It's the size of the fight in the dog, right?
I've got fight in me, but I also had 2 children with me, so like, there are levels of stupidity here. But yeah, no, I do think it's a scary reality, and like something that we've dealt with, and we had a very nice break from history.
Yeah.
And I wish we still had it.
I can empathize 100% with your struggle with like identity and you know, I'm white passing. Like you said, I'm very pale, blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, my mother's Jewish, my father is not. So again, my name kind of helps cover. My husband is not Jewish, and my son looks very Irish name, and I struggle with me wanting to keep him safe and being glad that he has that name and those types of appearance to cover. But at the same time, I feel like, am I doing a disservice by not being more proud of our Jewish ancestry? You know, it's like that balance of how do you manage that? And I think your book is a testament to really highlighting the resilience. All of the stories in the book, they inspire you, they give you hope. You know, when I think about a lot of Jewish history, a lot of the times people just think about the Holocaust and it's all Holocaust stories, but really you gave such a wide array of like successful Jews, and it wasn't just tied to this one traumatic event in our life. And that's what's keeping, you know, my niece going, is that, you know, things can be positive and there can be things that have nothing to do with something so traumatic, and, you know, we can be successful. And I just think that's also something that, you know, for parents now, that it's a difficult time, but this book itself is really highlighting so many positive things that can happen. And if I'm explaining this correctly, but I just feel like it really highlights the positivity that we need.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly, this will be the hill I die on. I am the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. Like, let's stop just talking about, like, Holocaust important. Also, Jews did a lot of other things. And like, you're not going to win kids without joy.
Yes.
Like, you're just not. So I needed to bring the joy back. And after October, I feel almost so grateful that I started this book before October 7th, because after it, I needed it so much more.
Yeah. What do you hope a child feels when they read this book?
I hope they find themselves in it. I hope they see somebody who looks like the artist and I were very clear that Jews come in every color, come from everywhere. So I tried to be as diverse. I failed in some ways at that, and that's what the second book is going to dwell on a little bit more. But I did try, like, Jen, you mentioned, like, someone from Japan. Like, how many people know Jews from Japan? But guess what? There are Jews that are, and they need to find themselves in this book. There are Moroccans, there are Iraqis, there are Iranians,
India, which
India.
I learned.
Yeah.
That's
Like
one of the things I love about our community is its diversity, to be honest with you.
I want them to find themselves in this book, and I want them to. I also chose like diverse professions. Like there's a chef, there's a race car driver, there are scientists, there are Nobel Prize winners. Like find the thing you want to be, and like every kid has at least one book report where they have to dress up as somebody in history. I want them to pick someone from this book.
That's incredible. I know, and even a basketball player.
Inventor of women's basketball. Let's go.
Yeah.
Really? She was a Jewish girl. Wow.
She was a Jewish girl. Send a Baron.
And she was apparently tall too.
Not me.
Shayna and I were talking earlier about, our nostalgia for the 80s and the 90s, and I have to show this. And Shayna, please tell me you grew up on Sherry Lewis.
Oh, I did! I actually went and saw Sherry Lewis in person and Lamb Chop, and Lamb Chop was my favorite when I was a little kid.
Oh my God, I used to watch it with my grandma. It just brings me back.
But like that's what you have to read a kid's book that also the parents want to read, and then like this one was for us. I don't think Lamb Chop exists anymore, but I was really happy to write her story because I think nobody realized like how weird and hard that must have been for her.
Yes.
Like she was like, I'm gonna be a puppeteer.
Yeah.
In weird. Like what, the 1950s, or it was the 60s, I think, that she came up in, right? Or was it the 50s?
It may have been the 60s or 70s. Like 60s. It was like, I think she died after we were already born. So yeah. And she died young. But she inspired her daughter. Her daughter's a puppeteer.
Really? That's amazing. Now, for anyone that wants to do what you've done and be able to write this book, I know you said you had to get $10,000 in like sales before they even agreed to sign you. How did you do that?
Like social media has its pros and cons. Social media was great. You type in like strong, you find some influencers. You type in strong Jewish and like those tag words work. You find different Facebook groups for like Jewish women. You find a bunch of moms who then tell other moms. And it happened so fast. Like I was shocked. I was shocked at the like movement. I was like, wow, this book really does need to happen. Like clearly there is demand. And it did. It happened within like a year. I think we signed when we had almost 10,000 in pre-orders. And then within a year, it came out. It was like great.
Incredible. Yeah, I just find it so fascinating that we were able to do it so quickly. And it's just, I think it's also incredible. Like it's such a grassroots startup. And Shayna, you're going to have to get a copy and read it. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, especially that I've heard about so many people that I didn't know about before.
It's really fun. I think people find themselves in it, and it's fun to like share it with different, like I go to my kids' school and I've talked to like different classes about it. I'll go to like local synagogues or JCCs and just like kind of share it. But every time I'm doing it, I'm like, wow, this is something I'm really so happy I did because it does make my life better. Like it makes other people's lives better. Like,
yes. I have a question though. It's like, I know in today's day and age, Jewish pride can be controversial. Have you received any pushback from any groups or people about creating a book about strong, proud Jewish girls?
I've gotten like internal pushback, internal to the Jewish community.
Interesting.
The internal pushback in the Jewish community oftentimes has been like, why are you defining a woman? And that's been really difficult to navigate, I find, because like there are lots of books out there that are just featuring men. Yeah. And there are lots of books out there, not enough probably, that have like more LGBTQ friendly themes, but that doesn't mean that the majority of girls are going to stay girls and
Exactly.
they're going to need role models. So it was been very difficult to have that feedback of like PJ Library, which is like the like public Jewish library that sends books to kids, said like, actually, we can't distribute this because we don't want to define what a woman is. And I was like, this is silly.
This is nuts.
Wow.
So both Jen and I are former leftists. I was very far left, okay? I'm a member of the LGBT community. And so I'm going to go off on this. This is something that I feel very passionate about is this, our community has just gone off the rails when it comes to not even being able to describe what a woman or a man is. And I respect everyone's gender presentation. I want to be very clear about that. If you're transgender, sababa to you. What you do is none of my personal business and I support you. However, there are biological realities, okay? There just are. And and I'm a feminist. And so this is insane that we can't even say, no, we're going to have a book for girls. And we're just going to leave it there.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. Like, I was more than a little surprised. I was like, you're missing the plot a little
Yes.
bit. Like,
100%.
Have books about the LGBTQ community. I'm very happy to amplify their voices. I'm part of a community that does amplify their voices, which is mostly rare in the like modern Orthodox space.
Yeah.
But also don't like discount girls. Like
Agreed.
we can do both.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agree.
Completely.
So that's been a weird like confluence of pushback. I don't think it's big enough. Like I have a very niche audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's distributed mainly on Amazon or in Judaica stores. It was supposed to be distributed by Barnes & Noble too, and then that never happened. And I don't know if it's because of my publisher, like he's based in Israel, and it's hard to know if it's publishing dying being the problem or like any other sinister plot here. So I can't even say like, yeah, definitely. I think it's just too niche an audience to actually get the pushback. Like maybe maybe that's when I'll have made it. I'll get like a 1-star review on Amazon and like we'll be like, oh, okay, I made it now. I found the troll.
When you start having haters, you've made it.
Yeah. The troll spied me. That's it. We're all done. We're done for.
And since you have an Israeli publisher, are we maybe looking at a Hebrew translation?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We have started that conversation. I cannot do it, but yes, I think there should be a Hebrew translation.
Love it. We do have a comment from Phyllis who said that the book sounds great for adults because she's never heard of some of the women that we mentioned. So, again, yeah, it's targeted to, young girls, but the information is for anyone. So anybody grab it. It's a really great read. And you learn so many fascinating things. So I really enjoyed it and I give it, 4 out of 4 stars. So.
And Melanie, where can people find more about you and your book?
I have not a huge online presence, but it exists. If you Google Melanie Goldberg or Melanie Goldberg Silver, I did not take on my husband's last name and I didn't tack it on either because that would sound ridiculous. That's too many Jewish names. But if you Google any of them, you'll find stuff about me. But the book is on Amazon or directly from Geffen Publishing. And those are the main places. Modern Tribe had it. I think they're sold out right now, but you can find it. You can also always email me. I don't know if there's like a way you can drop my email into the comments of this video. I haven't done it.
And they can follow you on Instagram. What's the handle?
Strong Jewish Girls.
Go. So everyone go follow Strong Jewish Girls on Instagram and go to Amazon or wherever you buy your books to find bedtime stories for Strong Jewish Girls. Thank you so much for joining us today, Melanie. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Yes,
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was such a lovely conversation.
Yes. And I have to say, our whole podcast or our whole series is about joy. And this book is the epitome of that. So again, please buy it or borrow it, whatever. It's great. And I think it's great, as we said earlier, for men and for women. It's just so many interesting facts and facets, and
And it sounds amazing for adults as well too. Like when going into this entire interview, I thought it was for kids, but after talking to Melanie, I actually do want to read it now. I want to know about, the queens of Judea and stuff like that.
And exactly. And I know it's like, it's just one page of, the information and one page of the illustration. So again, for someone who just wants a quick read, something short and sweet, right to the point, this is the type of, book that's right for you. And then you can go and research more if you're that entailed. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, guys. Go out there and buy the book, and we will see you next Sunday here at Am Yisrael Thrive. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.